performances, the auditors could also get some feedback after each audit to point out what they've done right or wrong and where they can improve on the next audit. It's a very valid point. Okay, session 2, we have just covered session 2. Summary of session 2 is more refresher training, more supplementary material, keen approach auditing, post-audit review, too many procedures, procedures do not match actual process, and we need process mapping as well, auditors appreciation and recognition. So there's a summary of the survey feedback that we had. You agree? Okay, we now go into still session 2. We'll go through examples of what is a good report, what is a report that we can improve on, or can be improved report, and what is a bad audit report. Okay, that will give us a very clear example of, based on the feedback, I have tailored this presentation for this purpose. So I've given some examples here, so as a reference. This is a good report. Good report 1. You've got identified this as a minor non-conformance. You've got auditors and auditee sign off, and you've got the date as well. It has covered off, and a very good report is you have corrective action, it is closed. So this audit report is complete. If it is not closed, it is not complete. So that was raised, minor non-conformance was raised, and the auditor actually followed through until it was closed on that day, which is very good. And also a very good report on this diagram here. My laser pointer doesn't work. So this part here, the results of it, the measurement, there should be a KPI on the procedure. There should be a KPI on the procedure. Each procedure or each process should have a KPI. If the procedure or process does not have a KPI, something is very wrong. So when you do an audit,
like it shouldn't have been released in the system without it?
it means you can't measure the process. There is no objective. You can't tell whether the objective has been met or not. Because TS talks about any process or system refers to two things, effectiveness and efficiency. So how do you measure effectiveness? If there's no KPI, you can't measure that. So on this audit report is a good report because she actually confirms, and the auditor actually confirms percentage of confirmed POs, value of premium freight, stock turns, supply default, and overdue POs. She actually checked that. This is another example of good report, and this report can be improved. This auditor basically goes step by step and note down the compliance of the auditee to this process, and a lot of notes has been written based on step by step, and it's noted here that this step here is not required, it's not being practiced, so it's not required, it's redundant. But this report can be improved. It's not complete because, for example, number one, holding warranty data. Is this a non-compliance? Is that what is a non-compliant to what the procedure says? It is actually not. Part sitting in QC for months. That is an observation. It can be improved. All right. It's either OFI, opportunity for improvement, or AOC, area of concern, but it's classified as minor. It should not be a minor. And auditor to sign and date.
I've got a report here that also has OFIs in that section. Is that correct or not? Should that classification there, should there also be OFIs in there?
I think
So that form just needs to be updated to
Correct.
include that prefix in it.
So you have major minor non-conformance, AOC or OFI. So that is,
So, yeah,
the
and there's
hierarchy of it.
opportunities for improvement, a separate section, but they could all just be listed in that auditor's findings and
So this
I'll send
audit,
you a non-conformance.
yes, this audit report has not been verified and the status is still open. So this report is not complete, even though it is not a bad report because the auditor actually have taken a lot of time to type it up. You can see that the auditor actually take the effort to type it all up, but the last step is not being finished. The Japanese guru once, Ochibo Hiroi, he once said, if 99% of the work is done, but 1% is not done, it's still not done. Remember that, Baron?
Alex, how do we prevent, I don't know, maybe you covered this in here, but how do you prevent people putting their own opinion in the audit? Like, and I see a lot of that internally where people just have an opinion that, because maybe I've got a beef with another department, I've got a problem with the other department that I've had for years, and I say, I think you should be doing this weekly instead of monthly. That's an opinion.
Yeah.
How do you prevent it? Because it will always happen. It will
Well, it's
happen.
just an opportunity for improvement as opposed to a,
The opportunity for
it's taken or
improvement,
not.
you must allow the auditor must allow the auditee to understand the implications of not doing that. It depends. It actually depends on the level of maturity of the auditee. But sometimes auditee do not have that level, so it has to go. If the impact is great, if you don't do it, impact is great, then it becomes an AOC, area of concern.
Shouldn't it just be that the maturity of the auditor is high enough that they should be trying to marry procedure, the TS requirements, and business requirements, rather than putting their own opinion in there? That's what I think. How do you teach that, or do we?
So that's why moving forward, all the internal auditors and department managers should go through a TS training, the requirements of it, understand what it's all about, so that it will become very clear to them what it is. And also, this is just the first training that I'm giving. The ISO 19011 is the rules of auditing imposed on auditors. You can't just simply impose your opinions as opinions become. There are rules, so you have to follow those rules. Okay, this is an example of audit report which can be improved on. The actual result is actually missing. So target KPI warranty as a percentage of sales. The best is if you can put what is the target. If it is 0.1%, if we put a target and what are the past results last year and the year before and current, what is the average? Is it measuring up or is it not measuring up? So you put it in there, it's fantastic.
So is that a good report? It's in the good report. But you're saying it's...
This is actually a can be improved report, so it actually can be improved. The auditor was in the training class, so I don't want to demoralize everyone, so I just put as good report. It's actually, it can be improved. But you can see that the auditor actually take a lot of effort to type it all out, to audit, different areas and try to cover off as much as possible. So this auditor also take the effort to type up all the observations on here. Typewritten is good, this is my notes, but handwritten notes as proof of audit will do. Best if both auditor and auditee could initial and date. Indicate which ones are OFI, NC or AOC on here. So handwritten will do. The auditor and auditee initiate and date it and identify what classification that is perfect. That's what we want. Okay, what is a bad report? A bad report, for example, purposely chosen. Yeah. So, during audit, no inconsistency has been found between work practice and procedure. It is always my belief that any process can be improved at any point in time. If let's say you're an auditor, you go and audit the process and you say everything is perfect, nothing can be improved. I don't believe you.
Yeah, but there's a difference between checking that people are doing what the process says and the improvement to the process.
That is in the past.
Which is what you were kind of saying, wasn't it, Mark? Like if people just doing this audit, internal auditing to confirm any variances from the process itself, or is it our job to be improving the process as well?
No, I don't know. That's the
But
question.
you're saying now it is our job to be improving the process.
I'll cover that off after. Okay? I'll cover off the type of audits that we have. We have got first party, second party, and third party. I'll cover that off. Okay. So there's no you can see from here there's no classification of what it is, whether it's a non-NC or AOC or.
I think because he
Nothing.
says there's nothing wrong with the.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with it. There is no inconsistency.
No inconsistency.
It's two negatives.
So it's,
NA, not people.
Yeah.
Okay. So the KPI on this is actually production new 100%. The auditor actually listed down all this, but this is not what the procedure's KPI is.
So does that mean that their KPIs, if they've found that that's the output, does that mean that the KPIs in the procedure are incorrect, or?
could be
Yeah. If let's say you,
improvement.
if the KPI on the procedure is incorrect, that is opportunity for improvement. If let's say you have the KPI and you're not even measuring it, there's a non-conformance.
Okay.
And if that measurement is not even done and it has a great impact to the company and the customer, that is a major non-conformance. And you're not been doing it for a long time. So there's a long lapse of time of not doing it, and the impact is high.
What if there is no KPI, and even if there is a KPI, probably it's not great impact to the company?
What if there is no KPI on the
Yeah,
procedure?
let's say if you're auditing the process, there's no KPI listed, and you will struggle to think of a KPI. But do you recommend? I don't think an auditor should recommend a KPI.
That's why you, as an auditor, you have to study the procedure first before you go and audit and get ready the questions. The questions, right questions to ask is, how do you measure the effectiveness of this process? Because you know that there's no KPI. What is the objective that you want? How do you exercise control? How do you promote consistency of the output? How do you control that? There's no KPI. How do you control that? How do you know that your performance is improving over time? Because there's no KPI. You can't measure. So how do you know that? These are the questions that you have to prepare, write it down, and when you go and audit, these are the questions that you ask. No indication of NC, AOC, OFI, no linkage to the report. So I would encourage you to note it down, have linkage to the report, then it is all there. Okay. So it is a very easy audit if, work practice confirmed to LP050, everything is on that task. So it's like a handball, everything is on that task. For comment, please refer to attached procedure, which is fine. The questions that we always have to ask is, has the current process met the stated deliverables? Has stated deliverables met TS 16949 requirements? If not, why not, and where are the gaps? Has the current process met customer expectations and deliverables? If not, why not? Is this process a world-class benchmark? If not, why not? Last session when I had this training with group 1, when I mentioned about world-class benchmark, everyone was laughing. I said, please do not laugh. because we have to make our procedure right. We have to make our process right. We are the DNA to other regions. We are the DNA to South Africa and Thailand. If we get it wrong, they will get it wrong. They will get it wrong.
High risk,
Yeah.
higher risk.
Or if they think that our procedures is not reliable, next time when you tell them to do something, they will have this at the back of their mind. You can't even do it right yourself. You're telling me. So, we have to bear that in mind. All right, opportunities for improvement. Is the process effective? Is the process efficient? Can the current process be further improved? We must remember this. You cannot promote efficiency if it is not effective yet. You must not. You must not press for efficiency if it is not effective as yet. Only if you can swim very well, then you can say, Jeremy, please swim faster. If your basic strokes are not yet right, you can't, it's still, it's not effective yet. You can't be asking for efficiency. No way. All right, corrective action, none, because there's it's no NC, no non-conformances. So on your KPI, on LP050 on this procedure, this is basically the KPI. 95% project on time, 95% launches met. So what the results? The results is very, very important. As an auditor, you look at the results because this is the key thing that you look at, whether the process is effective or not, whether it is efficient or not. Any questions before I go to session 3? Is it clear?
I'm sure you could have found many, many other examples.
Yeah.
Was it common? All of these kind of, the bad examples, was it common to see this kind of thing?
There is quite a lot of audit reports. So that is why we need this session so that we can calibrate. Okay.
I think there probably needs to be more touched on the TS stuff, because we're being asked to make sure it meets those requirements, but we don't refer to that often enough to probably fully understand or remember what the requirements are.
Yeah.
So I think that's sort of hard
For the audit.
yeah, but we're only doing it once or twice a year.
Yeah. So I will schedule a training. I'll conduct the training to run through the requirements of TS. But the condensed version of the TS takes about 8 hours, which means we might have to start at 8:30, finish at 5. That is a condensed
What
version.
about,
How about we do it differently?
and how about we get some material issued beforehand, so, even in smaller groups, we could ask questions, or as these are being carried out, it can be a bit of a working as we go, as everyone becomes a bit more aware of what the requirements are, because one day session still isn't going to mean that we've remembered everything, like a bit of a working.
Shouldn't it be broken into functional groups though? Because there's financial requirements. I don't care about the financial requirements.
You do so.
No, I mean, I don't have to worry about it in my procedures. There's design requirements. I do need to worry about those. So I would be breaking into functional groups so that
Maybe that can be
I
discussed
don't want to hear
outside
about
our-
the procurement when it's not my thing, It's,
What I can do is I will have to do TNA, training needs analysis. From that, then I can tailor-make the training material for that.
I think if there is a document in the meantime, or some summary or
points.
something that we can refer to, do our own reading, at least then we can.
it's not as hardcore to read as you might think.
No, but if there's just some key
I've
points,
seen some of it, but I just meant for everyone, like it's,
at least then we're covering off some of it when we're doing these audit reports, because, they're good, bad, whatever, but if we're not actually covering some of those key points, then really they're not meeting the
Customer
requirement you need.
requirements are a big one. You know, really understanding what our customers are asking us for and referring back to what we've agreed to.
From my point of view though, I don't want to make a big deal out of this, but if I'm auditing your department, I would look specifically at that part of the standard before doing that. I mean, now that I'm told I have to,
But then you'll be asked to do finance, you'll be asked to audit procurement, you'll be asked to audit, so
Not all at
really
once.
you're asking
more
that we become experts in TS requirements full stop.
No, not experts. What you need to understand is, because the TS requirements are actually interlinked, then once you are able to relate those requirements and then you become more aware when you audit, you become more aware that how this flows with how you interlink this with the other departments.
So it's probably,
So,
you probably will need to understand a bit
Yeah,
more
I-
about finance.
I understand,
Vice
but
versa.
what I'm saying is, if I was auditing you, I would
Recap.
start by
Yeah.
reading that section
Yeah.
first.
Yeah.
And then, but there is interlinks with other parts, and I know that. It's,
Which
it's
is-
not easy to do all of that at once.
Why we should probably have the requirements so we can start to kind of work through the relevant sections as we do the audits.
There are two ways of doing this. One way is you go through the one whole day training to understand the requirements and understand the interlink. Then the second session is grab the procedure and map that against the TS, because you already understand the TS requirements and map that against the TS. That is one way of doing it.
But you're going to do that.
Didn't you do this?
Right?
Did you do that?
No, you shouldn't rely on one person. I mean, when I started this loan system 2007, when I started it, I actually did it. But over time,
That's what I mean, I
a
remember.
lot of people change it and change it and change it. I've lost touch with it. This one way of doing it is this. Second way of doing it is you don't go through the whole TS requirements. You grab the procedure and start mapping. But you don't. The issue with that is you don't see the interlink with other departments. Okay. I'll do a TNA training needs analysis. Then we go from there.
More of us need to be across the flows, across the business.
Yeah.
Once you understand the TS requirements and interlink, when you do, when you review the procedure, this procedure, let's say, or this procedure, you will be able to relate to this department, this automatically. Okay, auditor's responsibilities. You can read this when you have time. So these are the list of responsibilities as an auditor. As an auditor, you need to understand the procedures or instructions. Very importantly, as an auditor, you need to have the end game in mind. Before you go to audit, you have determined what is the desired outcome, what you want to get out of it. You look, sometimes when looking at these procedures, past audit reports, NCRs, feedback from others about the performance of this process, you basically know what to look for. You really know the desired outcome before even you go and audit. Your audit, going to audit is just to confirm your suspicion. Okay. So, I mentioned about first party, second party, and third party audit. Third party audit is external audits. TS 16949, DQS company, SAI Global, all the management system certified companies to come and audit us is third party audits. Second party audits is when we go and audit suppliers, or when Holden car companies come and audit us, that's called second party audits. Or when car companies engage someone else. For example, when we get audited, when you got audited by Subaru America could not come, so they engaged Pro QC Taiwan to audit you. So that is considered a second party audit. internal audit is a first party audit. The difference between the three of them, third party audit is basically compliance. Okay? Certification bodies will come, assess your system whether it's compliant with TS or not compliant with TS. What are the gaps? What are the non-conformances? More on compliance. Second party audit, mainly on process audit, capabilities audit, whether this competitive supply is capable or not capable, in terms of technology, in terms of pricing, in terms of project management, in terms of the process. Isn't it wrong? There's always a look at. So you can see there is a clear distinction. Right? First party audit by internal auditors. Our job, in my opinion, is to value add, to do what? Combine, delete, and simplify. This thing doesn't work. Combine, delete, simplify the process. Is there any chance for us to combine this procedure with another procedure? Is there a chance for us to simplify? Is there a chance for us to delete some of the processes we don't need? Okay. So auditors need to understand TS 16949, the requirements, request the use of specialists. In a company, internal audits, there are 3 types of audits. TS requires us to do 3 types of audits. At the moment, all of us sitting down here, we are doing system audits. System. ISO 14001, which is EMS. ISO 18001, which is OHS. ISO 50001, which is energy management system, which we don't have. ISO 9000 or TS 16949, which is QMS. This is system audit. TS requires us to do 3 types of audits: system, process, and product. Zero. And we have a table.
System process.
Yeah, it's surprising to hear. Which standard requires this?
TS.
Yes.
And we haven't been doing it.
Right?
We haven't been doing it.
The internal auditors are not trained to do second and third one.
Just
Only
cover the
a few
camera
of us.
first.
Only Rob and myself, and we try to cover off as much as possible. But as we move on, we need to train you, the internal auditors, to gain more exposure to do process audits and product audits. It is a requirement. So internal auditors look at first party audit, look at man, method, material, machine, equipment, performance measurements, environmental, safety and savings. So that's where your Holden 7 S's come about. So, isn't it? It's not 6S. Toyota's got 6S, Holden GM has got 7. The last one is savings. Safety, savings. As we continue, your responsibilities, you can read most of it. So you must give sufficient time. You must have a strategy to start with. You must give sufficient time to the auditee to agree on the date of the audit, to tell the auditee what you are looking for. You have to let the auditee way before the audit. You have to let them know what you're looking for. Don't tell the auditee, I'm coming to audit you day after, so that's not my time. You're just doing it just to tick the box. That's not what we want. Explain to the auditee that your role is, this audit exercise is a fact finding and not a fault finding mission. When you fault find, the auditee will become defensive. When the auditee becomes defensive, you tend to become, automatically you tend to become more offensive because you get very frustrated. This fellow is trying to hide things from me. You're trying not to be honest with me. So I want to dig deeper.